You found the Stealth Podcast. Where are you watching from? What time is it there? Subscribe and comment to support us. Thanks. Let's begin. I'm going to tell you about the worst night of my life, parked in my van on the outskirts of Astoria, Oregon. I'm a solo vanlifer, always chasing freedom, but that night, I stumbled into a nightmare straight out of a horror movie. It started with a simple choice to camp near an old cannery, but things spiraled into something disturbing and gruesome. A deranged family, a chainsaw's roar, and my desperate fight to survive turned my dream of van life into a tragic, blood-soaked ordeal I'll never forget. Rain pelts my van's roof as I pull into a gravel lot near Astoria's abandoned cannery. I'm Gideon Voss, 42 years old, from Eugene, Oregon. Been living in my converted Sprinter for 2 years, chasing open roads and quiet nights. Astoria's got this eerie charm, foggy docks, old warehouses, like something out of a ghost story. I'm alone, no pets, no passengers, just me and my van, kitted out with a bed, stove, and solar panels. I heard about this spot from a Vanlife forum. Secluded, free, perfect for stealth camping. The cannery's rusted skeleton looms nearby, but I'm not spooked. I've parked in creepier places, like that deserted lot in Nevada where coyotes howled all night. I lock the doors, crack a beer, and scroll through my phone, planning tomorrow's drive to Cannon Beach. The rain's hypnotic, lulling me into a false sense of calm. The lot's empty, save for a beat-up pickup truck parked 100 yards away. I figure it's another camper, maybe a local fisherman. I don't overthink it. Van life teaches you to mind your own business. My van's my fortress, built for solitude. I've got blackout curtains, a sturdy lock, and a tire iron under the bed, just in case. Astoria feels safe, touristy even, with its coffee shops and maritime museums. But there's something off about this place tonight. The air's too still, the fog too thick. I shake it off, blaming my imagination. I've watched too many horror flicks, like that time I binged The Hills Have Eyes and jumped at every shadow. I turn off my phone, slide into my sleeping bag, and let the rain's rhythm pull me towards sleep. I'm no stranger to solo travel. Back in Eugene, I was a mechanic, always tinkering, which is how I built this van from scratch. Left that life behind after a bad divorce. Too many memories, not enough freedom. Now, it's just me, the road, and the occasional diner chat with strangers. I love the simplicity, the way I can park anywhere and call it home. But tonight, the cannery's silhouette feels oppressive, like it's watching me. I tell myself it's just the weather, the isolation playing tricks. I've camped in worse spots, like that time in Utah when a storm nearly flipped my van. I sip my beer, listening to the rain, unaware of the horror waiting just beyond the fog. The pickup truck's still there, its outline barely visible through the mist. I squint, trying to make out details, but it's too dark. Probably just a local, I think, or maybe a couple stealing a moment. Van life is full of weird encounters. Once, a guy in Idaho knocked on my door at 2 a.m., asking for gas. I didn't open it, and he left. I checked my locks again, a habit from years on the road. The cannery's history nags at me, shuttered in the 80s, rumors of accidents, workers crushed by machinery. Creepy, but not enough to make me move. I'm too tired, and this spot's too convenient. I pull my curtains tighter, ignoring the faint unease creeping up my spine. My van's my sanctuary, but tonight, it feels like a cage. I can't shake the sense that something's out there, hidden in the fog. I laugh it off. Gideon, you're being paranoid. I've got a long drive tomorrow, need to rest. I turn off my lantern, plunging the van into darkness. The rain's steady, almost comforting, but there's a faint hum, like an engine idling nearby. I tell myself it's nothing, just the pickup or a distant boat. I close my eyes, willing sleep to come, but the hum grows louder, closer. It's not an engine. It's something else, something mechanical, hungry. I sit up, heart thumping, straining to hear over the rain. The hum grows into a guttural buzz, like a chainsaw chewing through wood. I'm bolt upright in my van, heart pounding, peering through the blackout curtains. The fog's thicker now, swallowing the cannery's outline. But that sound, it's close, too close. I tell myself it's probably a maintenance crew, maybe clearing debris from the lot. But at midnight in Astoria? Doubtful. I've heard creepy noises before, like that time in Arizona when a pack of javelinas rummaged near my van. But this feels different, more sinister. I grab my tire iron, its cold weight grounding me. Do I stay put or check it out? The horror of not knowing gnaws at me, but opening the door feels like inviting trouble. I fumble for my phone, checking for service. 2 bars, enough to call for help if it comes to that. The buzzing stops, replaced by a heavy silence that's somehow worse. I strain to hear anything, my breath loud in the confined space. Then, a thud against the van's side, like something heavy dropped nearby. My gut twists. This isn't random. I think of that pickup truck, still parked out there somewhere. Was it closer now? I should have moved when I had the chance, found a Walmart lot or a campground. Vanlife rule number 1. Trust your instincts. Mine are screaming to leave, but the fog's so dense I can barely see 10 feet. Driving blind's a recipe for disaster. Like that time I nearly hit a deer in Montana. I crawl to the driver's seat, keys in hand, ready to bolt. The windows are fogged up, so I wipe one clear, peering into the mist. Nothing but gray swirls and the faint glow of a distant streetlight. Then, a shadow moves, tall, lurching, near the cannery. My heart's in my throat. It's probably just a homeless guy, right? But the shape's too big, too deliberate. I flash back to a story I read about Astoria's old docks, smugglers, disappearances, creepy stuff swept under the rug. The tire iron's still in my grip, but it feels useless against whatever's out there. I lock the doors again, cursing myself for picking this spot. Why didn't I just pay for a proper campsite? The buzzing starts again, closer, like it's circling the van. I freeze, every nerve on edge. It's not just a machine, it's deliberate, taunting. I think of horror movies, how the victim always makes the dumb choice to investigate. Not me. I'm staying put, engine off, lights out, hoping whatever's out there passes by. But then I hear it, a low, guttural laugh, human but wrong, like it's mocking my fear. My mind races to that pickup truck. Was someone watching me this whole time? I should have checked the forum reviews closer. Somebody mentioned weird locals near the cannery, but I brushed it off. Van life is supposed to be freedom, not this disturbing dread creeping up my spine. I slide back to the bed, clutching my phone, debating a 911 call. But what do I say? There's a creepy sound outside my van. They'd laugh me off. The laugh comes again, closer, joined by a second voice, raspy and low. My blood runs cold. There's more than one. I think of my ex back in Eugene, how she'd say I was reckless, always chasing the next adventure. Maybe she was right. The van's walls feel thinner now, less like a fortress. Something scrapes along the side, slow and deliberate, metal on metal. My decision's made. I'm not waiting to find out what's out there. I need to move, fog or no fog, before this scary night turns into something I can't escape. The scrape along my van stops, but my pulse doesn't. I'm back in the driver's seat, keys shaking in my hand, ready to peel out. The fog's a wall of gray, but I don't care. I'd rather risk a crash than stay here. I turn the ignition, and the engine sputters, loud in the silence. Come on, don't fail me now. It catches, thank God, but as I shift into drive, a figure lurches out of the fog, right in front of the van. He's huge, wearing a filthy apron, holding a chainsaw that's idling low. His face is wrong, scarred, twisted, like something out of a horror film. I slam on the brakes, heart hammering, staring at this monster who's staring back. This isn't a local drunk. This is something far more disturbing. I hit the locks again, though they're already bolted. The guy doesn't move, just stands there, chainsaw dangling, his eyes locked on me through the windshield. Then, another figure steps out, a wiry woman, maybe 50, with wild hair and a kitchen knife glinting in her hand. She's grinning, teeth yellow, like she's enjoying this. My mind screams Texas Chainsaw. I've seen this movie, and I'm not sticking around for the sequel. I rev the engine, ready to swerve around them, but the man raises the chainsaw, its roar splitting the night. It's a clear message, stay put. My van's tough, but it's not bulletproof, and I don't know what else they've got. I'm trapped in a scary nightmare I can't wake from. I glance in the side mirror, hoping for an escape route, but there's another shadow moving behind the van. 3 of them now? My stomach drops. I think of Astoria's history, old fishing families, insular, protective of their turf. Did I park on their land? Trespass into their twisted world? I should have researched this spot better, checked county records or something. Vanlife forums never mention psychos with chainsaws. The woman taps her knife on my window, slow and deliberate, the sound like nails on a chalkboard. "Come on out, sweetie," she rasps, her voice dripping with malice. This is real, and it's horrifyingly wrong. I'm sweating, gripping the tire iron, knowing it's no match for a chainsaw. The man steps closer, his bulk blocking my path. I catch a glimpse of his apron, stained dark, not with paint or grease, but something worse. Blood? My mind flashes to news stories. Missing hikers in Oregon, bodies never found. Was this their work? The third figure, smaller, maybe a teenager, circles to the passenger side, banging on the door. They're coordinated, like a pack of wolves. I'm not just a random target. This feels personal, like they've done this before. The horror sinks deeper. I'm not just fighting for my van, but my life. The chainsaw revs louder, and the man swings it, grazing the van's hood. Metal screams, sparks fly, and I yell despite myself. The woman laughs, a cackle that chills my blood. I'm cornered, outnumbered, in the middle of nowhere. My phone's still in my hand, but service is gone, 0 bars. No help's coming. I think of my van, my home, now a trap. I made a mistake parking here, thinking solitude was safe. The banging grows frantic, the chainsaws roar deafening. Something's gotta give, and I'm not waiting to find out what. I slam the van into reverse, praying I can outrun this disturbing nightmare before it's too late. I floor the gas, and the van lurches backward, tires spinning on wet gravel. The chainsaw man roars, charging after me, his blades swinging wildly. I swerve, barely missing the woman, who slashes her knife at the windshield, cracking it. My heart's pounding so hard I can barely think. The fog's a death trap, but I don't stop. Astoria streets are a few miles away, and I need to reach them. The van fishtails, and I hear a sickening thud. Did I hit something? Someone? No time to check. This is life or death, pure horror, and I'm not slowing down. I think of that time I outran a storm in Idaho, but this is worse. Humans, not nature, want me dead. The rearview mirror shows the big guy still running, chainsaw raised, his silhouette swallowed by fog. The teenager's sprinting too, faster than I expected, hurling something, a rock, that smashes my taillight. I swerve onto a narrow road, praying it leads to town. The van's engine whines, not built for this kind of abuse. I curse myself for skipping that tune-up in Eugene. Stupid mistake, and now it might cost me. The woman's voice echoes behind me, shouting something I can't make out, but it's terrifyingly gleeful. My hands shake on the wheel, the tire iron useless on the passenger seat. I need civilization, lights, people, anything to escape this scary madness. Headlights flicker in the distance, and hope sparks. Maybe a cop, a trucker, anyone. But as I get closer, it's that damn pickup truck from the lot, barreling toward me. My stomach sinks. It's them. The truck swerves, trying to cut me off, and I yank the wheel hard, scraping against a guardrail. Sparks fly, but I keep going. I think of true crime shows, families like this luring victims, preying on loners. Was I targeted because I'm alone? The truck's gaining, its engine roaring like the chainsaw. I spot a sign for Highway 101, my lifeline. If I can reach it, I might lose them in traffic. But the fog's relentless, and my cracked windshield's making it worse. I push the van harder, the speedometer hitting 60, dangerous on these slick roads. The pickup's right on my tail, its headlights blinding in the mirror. Something slams into the back door, another rock, or worse. I scream, swerving again, nearly clipping a tree. My phone's still dead, no GPS, no help. I think of my old life in Eugene, how I'd give anything to be back there, safe, bored. Vanlife was supposed to be freedom, not this disturbing chase through hell. The highway's close now, I can see its lights, but the truck's bumper kisses mine, jolting me forward. They're not giving up, and I'm running out of road. A sharp turn looms ahead, and I take it too fast, tires screeching. The van skids, grazing a ditch, but I correct it, barely. The pickup slows, maybe struggling with the turn, giving me a sliver of distance. I can hear the chainsaw again, faint but closing in. How is he keeping up? My mind's a blur of panic, every horror story I've ever heard flooding back. I made a mistake camping at that cannery, thinking I could handle anything. Now I'm fighting to survive, praying the highway's my salvation. The pickup's headlights fade slightly, but I know they're still coming. I grip the wheel, heart racing, as the fog starts to thin, revealing the faint glow of Astoria's lights ahead. Highway 101's lights glow through the fog, and I gun it, my van shaking like it's about to fall apart. The pickup's still behind me, but I've got a lead, maybe enough to reach Astoria's police station. My heart's pounding, hope battling terror. Then, a sickening lurch, the engine sputters, coughs, dies. No. I coast to a stop, the highway just out of reach. My mistake hits hard. I ignored that check engine light last week, too caught up in the Vanlife dream. Now I'm stranded, the pickup's headlights growing in my mirror. The chainsaw's roar is back, closer, a horrifying promise of what's coming. I grab the tire iron, knowing it's useless against that monster. I bolt from the van, sprinting into the woods off the highway. Branches claw my face, but I don't stop. The fog's thinner here, but it's still a maze of trees and shadows. I hear them behind me. The man's heavy footsteps, the woman's cackle, the teenager's shouts. They're hunting me, and it's disturbingly clear they've done this before. I think of those missing hiker stories, how bodies vanish in Oregon's wilds. My lungs burn, but I keep running, tripping over roots, my tire iron slipping from my sweaty grip. I should have stayed in Eugene, fixed the van, lived a boring life. This is my punishment for chasing freedom, and it's a scary, brutal end. I spot a clearing ahead, maybe a chance to hide, but the chainsaw is so close now, its buzz filling my skull. I dive behind a fallen log, heart hammering, praying they pass by. The pickup's engine growls nearby. They've driven off the road, following me into the woods. Headlights sweep the trees, and I see the man's silhouette, chainsaw raised, scanning for me. The woman's voice cuts through. "We'll find ya, sweetie." It's a game to them, a sick, horrifying game. I made a fatal mistake parking at that cannery, thinking I was safe. Now I'm prey, and there's no one to save me. I clutch a rock, my only weapon, as their footsteps crunch closer. The teenager spots me first, his flashlight blinding me. I throw the rock, hitting him square in the chest, and he stumbles, cursing. I'm up, running again, but the chainsaw man's faster than he looks. The blade swings, catching my arm, and pain explodes, blood soaking my jacket. I scream, staggering, but keep moving, driven by pure terror. The highway's so close. I can hear cars, see lights. If I can just reach it, but the woman's there, knife flashing, cutting off my path. My vision blurs, blood loss and panic taking over. I trip, falling hard, and they're on me, the chainsaw's roar drowning out my screams. This is it, the tragic end of my van life dream. The last thing I see is the man's scarred face, grinning as the chainsaw descends. I think of my van, my home, now abandoned on the roadside. I think of Eugene, the life I left, the people who'll never know what happened. The blade bites, and the pain's beyond anything I've ever felt. The woman laughs, the teenager cheers, and the world fades to black. My mistake was simple, trusting the road, thinking solitude was safe. Astoria's fog hides monsters, and I was too naive to see it. The horror of that night, the disturbing truth of what lurks in Oregon's shadows, claims me. No one finds my body, just another missing Vanlifer, lost to a gruesome, tragic fate. I'm about to tell you the most terrifying night I've ever faced, parked in my van near Astoria's waterfront. I'm a solo Vanlifer, always seeking quiet spots, but this time, I picked a place too close to the old tunnels beneath the city. What started as a peaceful night turned into a disturbing chase through a hidden world of forgotten passages and a crazed figure tied to Astoria's dark past. My mistakes led me into a trap, and the horror of what I found underground became a tragic fight for survival I'll never escape. Rain drizzles on my van's windshield as I park near Astoria's waterfront, close to the old Columbia River Maritime Museum. I'm Maricela Quinn, 29, from Bend, Oregon. Been living in my converted Ford Transit for a year, chasing freedom after ditching a soul-crushing office job. Astoria's got this moody vibe, fog rolling off the river, historic buildings that feel alive with stories. I found this spot on a Vanlife app, tucked behind some warehouses, perfect for staying under the radar. My van's got a cozy setup, bed, mini fridge, fairy lights for vibe. I'm alone, no one else on this trip, just me and the open road. Tonight, I'm craving quiet, maybe a podcast and some tea. The lot's deserted, just wet pavement and the distant hum of a cargo ship. I notice a manhole cover nearby, rusted and half hidden by weeds. Astoria's got these creepy underground tunnels, old Shanghaiing routes, or so I read online. Kinda cool, but I'm not here for history lessons. I've parked in weird spots before, like that gravel pit in Idaho where a raccoon scared me half to death. I laugh it off, sipping my tea, checking my locks. My van's my safe haven, built with my own hands, solar panels, reinforced doors, a knife stashed under the pillow. I'm not worried about the fog or the isolation. Vanlife's taught me to roll with it. I pull up a local blog on my phone, skimming stories about Astoria's tunnels. Back in the day, they say sailors got kidnapped down there, dragged to ships, never seen again. Creepy, but it's just lore, right? I think of my old life in Bend, stuck in a cubicle, dreaming of adventure. This is better, even if the rain's making everything feel a bit off. The manhole cover nags at me. It's closer to my van than I'd like, maybe 20 feet away. I shrug it off, blaming my imagination. I've got a long drive to Portland tomorrow, need to rest. I dim the fairy lights, cozy up in my sleeping bag, and try to ignore the faint unease creeping in. The river's lapping nearby, a steady rhythm that should be soothing, but it's not. I keep thinking about those tunnels. A friend in Bend once told me about urban explorers getting lost in them, hearing weird stuff, whispers, scratches. I roll my eyes. Maricela, you're being dramatic. I've camped in spookier places, like that forest in California where owls kept me up all night. Still, I double-check my knife, a habit from too many solo nights. The fog's thicker now, blanketing the lot, and I can't see the museum anymore. It's just me, my van, and that manhole cover, sitting there like it's waiting for something. I'm halfway to sleep when a faint clang echoes outside, sharp and metallic. Probably a loose pipe, I tell myself, but my heart's racing. I sit up, peering through the curtains, but the fog's too dense. The sound comes again, closer, like metal scraping metal. Maybe it's the manhole cover? Nah, that's ridiculous. I think of that time in Nevada when a stray dog bumped my van, freaking me out for nothing. But this feels different, more deliberate. I grip my knife, telling myself it's just the wind, but the air's too still. Something's out there, and it's starting to feel like the horror stories about Astoria's underground aren't just stories. That clang rings out again, sharper, like someone's prying open the manhole cover. I'm frozen in my van, knife in hand, heart thumping like a drum. The fog's so thick I can't see a thing, but I swear something's moving out there. Maybe it's just a maintenance worker, but at 1 a.m.? My gut says this is bad, real horror movie bad. I think of bailing, driving to a brighter lot near Astoria's downtown, but the rain's picking up and my tires aren't great. Last month's budget cuts meant skipping new ones. Dumb move, Maricela. I should have listened to my dad in Bend, who said solo camping's risky. Now I'm stuck, debating whether to stay or go. I peek through the curtains, squinting into the gray. The manhole cover shifted, just a sliver, like someone lifted it and stopped. My skin crawls. This is disturbing, not just some stray animal. I grab my phone to call 911, but there's no signal. Great. I remember a Vanlife vlog warning about Astoria's spotty service near the river. Why didn't I check that before parking here? I could start the van, but the noise might draw attention. I think of that time in Utah when I spooked a bear by revving my engine. Nearly got me killed. Staying quiet feels safer, but the scraping sounds back, slower, like it's taunting me. I'm not imagining this. I slide to the driver's seat, keys ready, but hesitate. Driving in this fog's a gamble, and if my tires slip, I'm screwed. The manhole cover shifts again, a loud screech that makes me jump. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here. But as I turn the key, the engine sputters, then dies. Panic hits hard. I forgot to charge the battery after running my heater all day. Another stupid mistake. I try again, but it's no use. The van's dead, and I'm stranded in this scary, fog-choked lot. Something moves outside, a shadow darting past the manhole. My heart's racing, telling me to run, but where? The tunnels are right there, and I'm starting to think they're not empty. The shadow moves again, closer, and I hear a low mutter, like a voice, but garbled, wrong. My mind flashes to those tunnel stories, Shanghai sailors, trapped souls, or worse, people still using them for shady stuff. I should have parked at a campground, paid the $20 instead of cheaping out. Van life's about freedom, but right now, it's a trap. I clutch my knife, wishing I'd brought the pepper spray I left in Bend. The muttering grows louder, joined by a faint thump, like footsteps underground. This isn't just creepy, it's horrifyingly real. I need to decide, stay in the van and hope they pass, or make a run for the museum, maybe find help. I lock the doors again, my hands shaking. The muttering stops, but now there's a faint tapping on the manhole cover, rhythmic, deliberate. My stomach twists, this isn't random. Someone, or something, knows I'm here. I think of a true crime podcast about drifters disappearing in coastal towns. Did I stumble into their territory? My van's supposed to be my safe place, but it feels like a coffin now. I consider smashing a window to escape, but that'd make noise. The tapping gets louder, and I swear I hear a chuckle, low and menacing. I made a mistake parking so close to those tunnels, and now I'm caught in something disturbing, with no way out but through the fog. The manhole cover flies open with a clang, and I stifle a scream, clutching my knife. A figure climbs out, gaunt, dressed in ragged clothes, holding a rusty crowbar. His eyes glint in the fog, locking onto my van like he smells my fear. This isn't a worker or a ghost. It's a man, real and terrifying. My mind screams to hide, but there's nowhere to go. The van's dead, and the museum's too far. I think of those Astoria tunnel myths, deranged loners living underground, preying on anyone dumb enough to get close. That's me, Maricela, the idiot who parked here. This is horror come to life, and it's all my fault for ignoring the signs. He shuffles closer, crowbar dragging on the pavement, the sound scraping my nerves raw. Then, another figure emerges, a woman, skeletal, with a makeshift spear, her face twisted in a sneer. They move like they've done this before, stalking my van in a slow, deliberate circle. My heart's pounding so hard I can barely breathe. I think of a news story from Bend about transients attacking campers. Nobody believed it, but this is real, disturbingly real. I slide to the floor, hiding below the windows, praying they'll think the van's empty. But the man taps his crowbar on my door, a sick taunt, and I know I'm not invisible. The woman hisses something to the man, her voice like gravel. "She's in there," she says, and my blood freezes. How do they know? Did they see my lights earlier? I curse myself for using those fairy lights. Stupid, reckless mistake. I grip my knife, but it feels pathetic against a crowbar and spear. The tunnels must be their lair, and I've parked right on their doorstep. Astoria's underground isn't just a myth, it's a nightmare, and I'm trapped in it. The man pries at my door, the lock creaking under pressure. I need to act, but fear's got me paralyzed, like that time I froze when a coyote circled my camp in Nevada. A third figure crawls out, younger, maybe a teen, with wild eyes and a hammer. 3 against 1, my odds are garbage. They're not just drifters, they're coordinated, like a pack with a plan. The teen bangs the hammer on my van's side, laughing, and it's the most horrifying sound I've ever heard. I think of those Shanghaiing stories, people dragged underground, never seen again. Is that their game? My phone's still dead, no help coming. I made a mistake trusting this spot, thinking solitude was safe. The crowbar scrapes again, and the lock's giving way. I can't stay here. I need to run, now, or I'm done for. I crawl to the back door, knife ready, planning to sprint for the museum. But the woman's there, spear raised, blocking my exit. She grins, teeth missing, and my stomach lurches. This is it. The moment horror becomes reality. The man's crowbar jams into the doorframe, and it splinters. They're seconds from getting in. I think of my mom in Bend, how she begged me to quit van life. I should have listened. The teen's hammer smashes a window, glass raining inside, and I scream, scrambling back. Something's horribly wrong, and I'm out of time. I kick the back door open, ready to bolt, praying I can outrun this scary, underground nightmare. I burst out the back door, knife in hand, and sprint toward the museum through the fog. The woman's spear grazes my arm, slicing skin, and I yelp, blood dripping. My legs pump, wet pavement slipping under my sneakers. The man's shouting behind me, crowbar clanging, and the teen's footsteps pound close. This is life or death, pure horror, and I'm running blind. I think of that time I outran a storm in Oregon's high desert, but this is worse. Humans hunting me, not nature. I aim for the museum's lights, faint in the distance, praying for a security guard, anyone. My mistake was parking near those tunnels, and now I'm paying for it. The fog thins slightly, and I spot a narrow alley between warehouses. I duck into it, hoping to lose them, but the teen's faster, his hammer swinging wildly. It clips my shoulder, pain exploding, and I stumble, catching myself on a wall. My arm's bleeding bad now, soaking my jacket. I think of true crime shows, people vanishing in alleys like this. Why didn't I stick to crowded campgrounds? The man's crowbar scrapes nearby, and the woman's voice echoes, "Gotcha now." It's disturbing, their confidence, like they know these streets better than me. I push off the wall, running again, toward the river. I hit the waterfront, the Columbia River's black water glinting under streetlights. The museum's close, maybe 100 yards, but my lungs burn, and my arms going numb. I hear the teens laugh, chillingly close, and glance back. The man's gaining, crowbar raised. I made a mistake not charging my van's battery. I could have driven out of this nightmare. Now I'm on foot, no phone, no help. A fishing boat's docked nearby, its deck dark. I consider hiding there, but the woman's spear glints in the fog. She's cutting me off. This is a scary game of cat and mouse, and I'm the mouse, running out of moves. I veer toward a pier, hoping to lose them in the maze of pilings underneath. My sneakers slip on wet wood, and I nearly fall into the river. The cold bites my skin, but I keep going, ducking under the pier's beams. The man's boots thud above, and the teen's hammer bangs the planks, sending splinters flying. I think of Astoria's history, bodies dumped in this river, never found. My heart's pounding, fear drowning out reason. I should have screamed for help earlier, drawn attention. Now I'm trapped in this horrifying chase, with no clear way out. The woman's voice cuts through. Can't hide forever. I crawl deeper under the pier, mud and water soaking me, my arm throbbing. The fog's my only cover, but it's not enough. They're too close. The teen's hammer smashes a piling, and I flinch, my knife slipping into the muck. Damn it, Maricela, you're losing everything. I spot a rusted ladder leading up to the pier's edge. Maybe I can climb, reach the street. But the man's shadow looms above, crowbar glinting. My mistake was thinking I could handle anything Vanlife threw at me. Now I'm fighting to survive, praying for a miracle in this disturbing, fog-drenched hell. I grab the ladder, ready to climb, knowing they're right behind me. I scramble up the ladder, my bleeding arm screaming with every rung. The pier's slick, and I slip, barely catching myself. The man's right behind, crowbar swinging, and it grazes my leg, tearing through denim and skin. I scream, pain blinding, but keep moving, crawling onto the pier. The museum's lights are so close, but the woman's there, spear raised, blocking my path. This is horror at its worst, a trap I walked into by parking near those tunnels. My van's back there, dead, a symbol of my failure. I think of Bend, my old life, how I should have stayed safe, boring. Now I'm bleeding out, hunted by these tunnel freaks. I stagger to my feet, limping toward the street, but the teen's hammer flies, hitting my back. I collapse, gasping, the air knocked out of me. The man looms over, crowbar raised, his eyes empty, like this is just another night for him. I think of those Shanghaiing legends, people dragged underground, lost forever. My mistake was ignoring the manhole cover, thinking it was just urban lore. The woman kneels beside me, spear poking my side, her laugh chillingly soft. "Shouldn't have come here," she whispers. It's disturbing, how calm they are, like this is their ritual. I'm not just a victim, I'm their prey. I try to crawl, gravel cutting my palms, but my body's failing. The river's edge is close, its dark water promising a cold end. I think of my parents in Bend, how they'll never know what happened. I should have called them, said I love them. The teen grabs my hair, yanking me back, and the man's crowbar slams down, cracking my ribs. Pain's all I know now, a horrifying blur. My knife's gone, my strength's gone, and the museum's lights mock me, just out of reach. I made a fatal mistake trusting Astoria's quiet, thinking I could handle the road alone. The spear's cold tip presses into my neck, and I know it's over. The woman drives the spear in, and I choke, blood flooding my throat. The man swings again, and my vision splits, the world tilting into darkness. The teen's laugh is the last thing I hear, echoing like a curse. They drag me toward the manhole, back to the tunnels, and I realize the scary truth. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. My van sits abandoned, my dream of freedom shattered. Astoria's underground claims another soul, just like the stories warned. My body disappears into the dark, a tragic end to a life I thought was mine to control, lost to the horror beneath the city. No one finds me. The police might check the lot, see my van, but I'm gone, swallowed by the tunnels. My parents will post flyers, Vanlife forums will buzz with theories, but the truth stays buried. I was too reckless, too sure I could outrun any danger. The disturbing reality of Astoria's underground, its living, breathing monsters, ends me. My blood stains the tunnels, another ghost for the myths, another warning ignored. Vanlife was my escape, but it led me straight to a gruesome, tragic fate, sealed in the dark beneath the city's streets. I'm going to tell you about the night I parked my van near Astoria's pier and got caught in something straight out of a nightmare. I'm a solo vanlifer, always chasing quiet spots, but this time, I picked a place too close to the Columbia River's edge. What started as a calm evening turned into a horrifying encounter with a figure tied to Astoria's old maritime myths. My choices led me into a trap, and the disturbing truth of what haunts this town became a tragic fight for my life that I couldn't win. Fog curls around my van as I park near Astoria's Pier 39, the Columbia River lapping nearby. I'm Theo Calder, 53, from Salem, Oregon. Been living in my Dodge Ram van for 3 years, ever since I retired early from teaching history. Astoria's got this haunting vibe, old ships, weathered docks, like the past never left. I found this pier on a Vanlife blog, perfect for a quiet night. My van's a fortress, bed, propane stove, bookshelves stuffed with novels. No one's with me, just my lonesome self, savoring the solitude. Tonight, I'm planning to read, maybe jot some notes for my travel journal. The pier's empty, just me and the river's gentle slosh. I spot a faded sign about the lady in the mist, some local ghost story about a woman who drowned sailors back in the 1800s. Sounds like tourist bait, but it's got a creepy charm. I've parked in spooky spots before, like that cemetery lot in Montana that gave me chills. I laugh it off, sipping coffee, checking my locks. My van's got blackout shades, a deadbolt, and a hatchet under the seat, just in case. Salem feels a world away. Too many memories of grading papers and staff meetings. This is my life now, free and simple. I flip through my journal, scribbling about Astoria's vibe. The fog's thick, swallowing the pier's end, and it's got me thinking about those old maritime tales. They say the lady in the mist lures men to the water, their bodies never found. Creepy, but I'm not superstitious. I've dealt with weird stuff on the road, like that drunk guy in Idaho who tried to jimmy my door. I scared him off with a flashlight. The river's sound is soothing, but there's a chill in the air that's not just the weather. I tell myself it's nothing, just the fog playing tricks. I've got to drive to Seaside tomorrow, need to rest. The pier's got this old wooden bench nearby, soaked from the mist. I think about stepping out to stretch, but something holds me back. Maybe it's the stories, or maybe it's the way the fog seems to move, almost alive. I shake my head. Theo, you're too old for ghost stories. My van's my home, built to keep me safe. I've got a propane heater, enough food for days, and that hatchet if things get dicey. Still, I double-check the deadbolt, a habit from years of solo travel. The river's sound shifts, like a soft hum, almost a voice. I laugh it off, blaming my imagination. I'm halfway through my book when a faint light flickers outside, like a lantern swaying in the fog. Probably a boat, I think, but it's too close, too steady. My heart skips. Nobody's out there, right? I remember a Vanlife forum post about Astoria's pier, some guy saying he saw weird lights at night. I brushed it off as clickbait. Now, that light's moving, slow and deliberate, toward my van. It's probably nothing, like that time in Nevada when a car's headlights spooked me. But this feels different, more unsettling. I grip my hatchet, telling myself it's just the fog, but the light's getting brighter and the hum's turning into a whisper calling my name. That whisper, my name, clear as day, cuts through the fog, and my blood runs cold. I'm gripping my hatchet, peering through the blackout shades, but the light's gone. Just fog and darkness now. This is straight up horror, not some boat or prank. I think of driving off, finding a Walmart lot, but the fog's so thick I'd be crawling at 10 miles an hour. My van's low on gas too, didn't fill up in Astoria, thought I'd do it tomorrow. Dumb move, Theo. I should have listened to my old colleague in Salem, who said coastal towns have weird vibes. Now I'm stuck, deciding whether to stay put or face the fog. I check my phone. No signal, of course. Astoria's riverfront is notorious for dead zones, something I read but ignored. My heart's pounding, and that whisper comes again, soft, feminine, like it's right outside. Theo, it says, chillingly clear. I think of those Lady in the Mist stories. Pure myth, right? But this feels too real, too disturbing. I consider starting the van anyway. Gas be damned, but the engine's loud, and I don't want to draw attention. I've been in tight spots before, like that time in Arizona when a storm stranded me. But this is different. Something's out there, watching. I slide to the driver's seat, keys in hand, but hesitate. The fog's a wall, and my gas gauge is flirting with empty. If I get stuck, I'm screwed. The whisper's louder now, joined by a faint splash, like someone's wading in the river. My mind races to that forum post. Some Vanlifer swore they saw a woman in white near this pier. I laughed it off, but now I'm not so sure. I should have parked closer to town, not this isolated pier. My hatchet's heavy in my lap, but what good is it against a ghost? Or worse, something human pretending to be one. The scary truth is sinking in. I'm alone, and something wants me out of this van. The light's back, closer, bobbing like it's floating. I squint, and for a second, I see her, a woman in a tattered dress, pale, standing on the pier. My stomach drops. This isn't a myth. It's real, and it's horrifying. I think of my history classes, teaching about sailors lost in Astoria's waters. Did I stumble into their grave? I fumble with the keys, but my hands are shaking. I should have checked the pier's history, not trusted some blog. The woman's gone, but the whisper's closer, almost inside the van. I lock the doors again, cursing my low gas. Do I stay and hide, or run into the fog? A soft tap hits the van's side, like fingers brushing metal. My heart's in my throat. This isn't just creepy, it's deliberate. I think of calling for help, but with no signal, I'm on my own. The tapping grows insistent, and the whisper turns into a low laugh, cold and wrong. I made a mistake parking here, thinking I could handle anything. Vanlife's supposed to be freedom, not this disturbing trap. The light bobs closer, and I swear I see her face, pale, eyeless, grinning. I can't stay here. I need to move, fog or no fog, before this scary night swallows me whole. The van door rattles, and I jump, hatchet raised, as the woman's face presses against the window. Her skin's gray, lips cracked, eyes just hollow sockets. She's no ghost. She's real and terrifying. The fog swirls around her, but she's solid, clawing at the glass with jagged nails. My heart's pounding. I'm trapped in a horror show. I think of those maritime myths, the lady in the mist luring men to drown. Is this her? Or some sicko playing the part? I should have left Salem for good, stayed off the road. The door groans under her grip, and I know my deadbolt won't hold long. Something's horribly wrong here. She hisses my name, her voice like wet gravel, and bangs the glass, cracking it. I scramble back, knocking over my coffee mug, the crash loud in the van. My mistake was ignoring that forum post. Other vanlifers warned about this pier. Now I'm paying for it. I try the ignition, but the engine sputters. Low gas, bad timing. The woman's joined by another figure, a man, gaunt and soaked, holding a rusted fishhook. They're circling the van, coordinated, like predators. This isn't just a story, it's a disturbing reality, and I'm their target. I grip my hatchet, knowing it's not enough. The man jabs the fishhook at the door, scraping metal, and I yell, panic taking over. My mind flashes to a documentary about Astoria's shipwrecks, bodies washing up, never identified. Are these people tied to that? The woman's nails screech on the glass, and the crack spreads. I think of my students in Salem, how I'd tell them to stay calm, think logically. But logic's gone. This is pure terror. I should have filled the tank, checked the pier's history. The man's hook catches the doorframe, and it bends. They're getting in, and I'm out of time. My van's no fortress now, it's a coffin. A third figure appears, younger, maybe a woman, with a net dripping river water. She throws it against the windshield, tangling wipers, blocking my view. They're not random. They're a family, or a cult, tied to this pier's dark past. The horror's real, and it's coordinated. I think of those missing sailor stories, how the river hides secrets. My phone's useless, no signal, no help. I made a mistake trusting this spot. thinking myths were just stories. The woman's face is back, her hollow eyes boring into me. The door's giving way, and I need to run, now, before this scary nightmare ends me. I kick open the back door, hatchet in hand, and bolt into the fog. The woman's scream follows, shrill and inhuman, as the man's hook whistles past my ear. I stumble on the pier, wet with slick under my boots. The net thrower's close, her laughter chilling. This is no ghost story, it's a trap, and I walked right into it. My heart's racing, my lungs burning, as I aim for the pier's end, hoping for a boat, a road, anything. The fog's my only cover, but it's not enough. Something's horribly, disturbingly wrong, and I'm running out of time to escape this living horror. I sprint down the pier, fog choking my lungs, the woman's scream echoing behind me. The man's fishhook grazes my back, tearing my jacket, and I stumble, pain shooting through me. This is life or death, pure horror, and I'm running blind. The pier's end is close, but the river's right there, black and hungry. I think of that time I outran a coyote in Wyoming, but this is worse. Humans, or something like them, hunting me. My mistake was parking on this cursed pier. I aim for a cluster of buildings beyond, maybe a warehouse with people. My hatchet's still in my grip, but it's useless against three. I need to lose them, fast. The fog thins, and I spot a narrow path leading to a boatyard. I veer toward it, boots slipping on wet gravel. The net thrower's close, her net swinging, catching my leg. I fall hard, scraping my knees, and kick free, pain be damned. The man's hook swings again, missing by inches. I think of true crime stories, people vanishing near rivers, no trace. Why didn't I stick to crowded RV parks? The woman's voice cuts through. You can't run, Theo. It's disturbing how they know my name. I scramble up, running for the boatyard, praying for a guard, a phone, anything. I duck behind a stack of crates, heart pounding, trying to catch my breath. The fog's my ally now, hiding me, but their footsteps crunch closer. The man's muttering, low and angry, while the net thrower laughs, a scary, unhinged sound. My back's bleeding, soaking my shirt, and my legs throbbing from the net. I should have fueled up, planned better. Vanlife's about freedom, not this horrifying chase. I spot a shed with a flickering light, maybe a worker's inside. I creep toward it, hatchet ready, but the woman's there, blocking the path, her eyeless face grinning. I freeze, trapped in this nightmare, with nowhere to go. The shed's door is ajar, and I lunge for it, slamming it shut behind me. It's dark, smelling of oil and fish, but I'm not safe. The man's hook scrapes the door, and the net thrower's banging on the walls. I fumble for a lock, find a rusty bolt, and slam it home. My mind races to Astoria's myths, sailors lured to their deaths, bodies lost in the river. Is this their legacy? My phone's still dead, my gas tank's empty, and my van's a mile away. I made a mistake chasing solitude, ignoring the warnings. The woman's nails claw the door, and it shakes. I need to move, find another exit, before this disturbing trap closes for good. I spot a back window, small but climbable. I shove it open, glass cutting my hand, and crawl through, hitting the ground hard. The boatyard's a maze of boats and nets, but the fog's thinning, and I see a road, maybe to town. The man's hook smashes the shed door, and they're through, their shadows closing in. My heart screaming, every step a fight against panic. I think of my old life in Salem, safe, predictable. Why did I choose this? The woman's scream pierces the air, and I run, hatchet slipping from my bloody hand. I'm out of options, fighting to survive this scary, river-soaked hell, with the lady's minions right behind. I stumble onto the road, blood dripping from my hand, my back screaming from the hook's gash. Town's lights flicker through the fog, so close, but the woman's right behind, her eyeless face a horrifying blur. She lunges, nails raking my arm, and I swing my fist, connecting with her jaw. She staggers, but the man's hook catches my side, tearing deep. Pain blinds me, and I fall, gravel biting my knees. My mistake was parking on that pier, believing myths were just stories. The net thrower's laugh echoes, and I know I'm done. Vanlife was my dream, but it led me to this tragic end. I crawl toward the road, blood pooling, my vision fading. The man looms over, hook raised, his face blank, like this is routine. I think of my students in Salem, how I'd tell them to fight, to live. But I'm out of fight. The woman kneels, whispering my name, her breath cold and foul. It's disturbing how calm they are, like the river itself sent them. I should have stayed in Salem, never touched the road. The net thrower tosses her net, pinning me down, and the weight's crushing. My heart's slowing, the horror overwhelming. I made a fatal mistake chasing freedom, and now it's over. The hook slams down, ripping through my chest, and I scream, the sound lost in the fog. The woman's nails dig into my face, tearing skin, and the net tightens, cutting my breath. I think of my van, my books, my journal, useless now, abandoned on the pier. Astoria's myths were real, the lady in the mist a lure for fools like me. My body's failing, blood soaking the gravel. I should have listened to that forum post, checked the gas, anything. The man's hook swings again, and pain's all I know, a scary final wave. The river's lapping nearby, waiting to claim me, just like the story said. They drag me toward the water, the net binding my arms, my strength gone. The woman's laugh is the last thing I hear, cold and triumphant. The river's edge is close, and I know what's coming. They'll dump me, another lost soul in Astoria's waters. My mistake was simple, trusting the road, ignoring the signs. The fog closes in, and I'm sinking, the cold water swallowing me whole. The lady in the mist wins, her minions finishing what she started. My body vanishes, no trace left, just another ghost for the river's myths, a tragic warning for the next fool who parks too close. No one finds me. My van sits on the pier, a mystery for the cops, my journal unread. Salem's a distant memory, my old life gone. Vanlife promised freedom, but Astoria's fog hid a horror I couldn't escape. The lady in the mist, or whatever those things were, took me, their ritual complete. My blood feeds the river, my name joins the legends, and the disturbing truth stays buried in the fog. I was too old, too stubborn, to see the danger. This is my end, a gruesome fate sealed by my own choices, lost forever in Astoria's haunted waters. I'm about to share the most horrifying night of my life, parked in my van near Astoria's old docks. I'm a solo vanlifer, always hunting for free spots, but this time, I chose a place too close to the city's sinister underbelly. What started as a quiet evening spiraled into a disturbing clash with a group of thugs tied to Astoria's press-ganging past. My bad choices led me into their trap, and the horror of their brutal ritual became a tragic fight for survival I couldn't win. Fog blankets the old docks as I park my van near Astoria's Riverwalk. The Columbia River's scent heavy in the air. I'm Lennox Harper, 36, from Medford, Oregon. Been living in my converted Chevy Express for 2 years, ditching a dead-end warehouse job for the open road. Astoria's got this raw, weathered feel, crumbling piers, salty air, like time stuck here. I found this spot on a Vanlife map, hidden behind some shipping crates, perfect for stealth camping. My van's my world. Bed, propane lamp, a guitar I barely play. Tonight, I'm just chilling, strumming a few chords, sipping whiskey. The dock's quiet, just the creak of old wood and distant ship horns. I spot some graffiti on a nearby crate, faded names, dates from the 1800s. Astoria's got a rough history, press-ganging sailors into service, kidnapping them from bars. Creepy, but ancient news. I've parked in shadier spots, like that alley in Nevada where a guy tried to sell me stolen tires. I shrug it off, locking my doors. My van's solid, reinforced locks, a crowbar stashed by the seat. Medford's behind me, too many bad memories. This is my life now, free, simple mine. I strum my guitar, the notes mingling with the fog. The Riverwalk's empty, tourists gone home. I read about Astoria's press-ganging days, guys dragged onto ships, never seen again. Sounds like a horror flick, but it's just history, right? My van's cozy, the lamp casting a warm glow. I think of my old job, hauling boxes, hating every second. Van life's better, even if the fog's making me jumpy. I check my crowbar, a habit from too many solo nights. The docks feel off tonight, too still, but I blame the whiskey and laugh it off. A light flickers across the river, faint, like a signal. Probably a boat, I tell myself, but it's steady, not moving. I think of a Vanlife post about Astoria's docks. Some guy mentioned sketchy locals at night. I ignored it, figured I could handle anything. My van's my fortress, built for the road. Still, I double-check the locks, sipping my whiskey. The fog's thicker now, swallowing the crates, and that light's still there, closer. It's probably nothing, like that time in Idaho when a car's taillights freaked me out. But something's nagging me, a chill that's not just the air. I set the guitar down, the strings twanging softly. The light's gone, but now I hear footsteps, slow, heavy, on the dock. My heart skips. Probably a worker, but at this hour? I peer through the curtains, seeing nothing but fog. I think of those press-ganging stories, how men vanished without a trace. "Lennox, you're being paranoid," I mutter, but the footsteps stop, right outside my van. I grab my crowbar, telling myself it's just a drunk or a stray dog. But the silence is worse, heavy, like something's waiting. This is starting to feel like the start of a scary night, and I'm not sure I'm ready. The footsteps start again, circling my van, and my grip tightens on the crowbar. This isn't a dog, it's deliberate, human. My heart's pounding, the whiskey sour in my gut. The fog's so thick I can't see a damn thing, but I hear a low mutter, like voices arguing. This is straight-up horror, not some late-night worker. I think of driving off, finding a safer spot, but my battery's low, ran the lamp too long last night. Stupid mistake, Lennox. I should have charged it at that gas station in Astoria. Now I'm stuck, deciding whether to stay quiet or risk starting the van. I check my phone. No bars, typical for these docks. A Vanlife thread warned about spotty service here, but I didn't listen. The muttering's closer, and I catch a word, grab him. My blood freezes. This isn't random. It's targeted, disturbing. I think of that time in Utah when a guy tried breaking into my van. I scared him off with a shout. But this feels worse, coordinated. I could try the engine, but the noise will give me away. The footsteps pause, and a shadow moves past my window, tall and broad. I need to move, but the fog's a death trap. I slide to the driver's seat, keys shaking, debating my options. The battery's iffy, and if it dies, I'm screwed. The muttering's louder, 2 voices now, maybe 3. I think of Astoria's press-ganging history. Men snatched, forced onto ships. Is this some twisted modern version? I should have parked near town, not this creepy dock. My crowbar's ready, but what's it against a group? A metallic clank hits the van's side, like a tool tapping. My heart's in my throat. This is scary, and I'm out of my depth. Do I stay hidden or make a break for it? The clank comes again, harder, denting the metal. I curse myself for not upgrading my locks. Thought the deadbolt was enough. The voices are clearer now, rough, like they're planning something. "He's alone," one says, and my stomach drops. They know I'm here. I think of a news story from Medford. Guys jumped at a rest stop, left for dead. Did I stumble into their turf? The fog's my only cover, but it's not enough. I need to act, but starting the van's a gamble. The tapping turns into a scrape, slow and deliberate, like they're toying with me. I hunker down, crowbar clutched, praying they'll move on. But a flashlight beam cuts through the fog, sweeping my van. My mind races. Press-ganging wasn't just history. Maybe it's still alive, twisted, real. I should have listened to my gut, left when I saw that light across the river. The beam lingers on my window, and a voice laughs, low and mean. This is no prank. It's a disturbing hunt, and I'm the prey. I need to decide, fast, stay and hope they leave, or risk everything and run. The scrape gets louder, and I know I can't wait any longer. The van's door jolts as someone slams into it, the deadbolt creaking. I'm crouched low, crowbar ready, heart hammering. A face appears at the window, scarred, bearded, eyes wild. He's no dock worker. He's a predator, grinning like this is fun. This is horror, raw and real. 2 more figures step from the fog. Another man, bulky, with a pipe, and a woman with a rope coiled like a noose. They're a crew, press-gangers reborn, and I'm their mark. I should have left Medford for good, stayed safe. The bearded man bangs his fist, cracking the glass, and I know I'm out of time. He yells, "Get out, or we drag you out." My stomach lurches. They mean business, and it's terrifying. I think of those old Astoria stories. Men snatched, shipped off, or worse. These guys aren't ghosts. They're flesh and blood, disturbingly real. I try the ignition, but the battery's dead, just a click. Damn it. Lennox, why didn't you charge it? My van's a trap now, not a home. The woman swings her rope, looping it around the door handle, pulling hard. I grip my crowbar, but it's no match for 3. They're coming in, and I'm screwed. The bulky man smashes his pipe against the windshield, spiderwebbing it. I yell, panic taking over, and scramble to the back. My mind flashes to a true crime podcast. Gangs targeting loners, leaving no trace. Is this them? I should have checked the dock's history, not trusted that Vanlife map. The bearded man pries at the door, metal groaning, while the woman laughs, a chilling sound. This isn't just a robbery. It's a ritual, a horrifying echo of Astoria's past. My phone's useless, no signal, no help. I'm alone, and something's horribly wrong. The back door buckles as the bulky man kicks it, the lock splintering. I think of my old job in Medford, how I hated it but felt safe. Why did I choose this life? The woman's rope tightens, and the door pops open. The bearded man lunges, grabbing my arm, his grip like iron. I swing my crowbar, catching his shoulder, but he barely flinches. The bulky man's pipe swings, grazing my head, and pain explodes, blood trickling. This is a scary nightmare, and I'm not waking up. I kick free, diving for the open door, desperate to escape. I stumble onto the dock, fog swallowing me, but their footsteps are right behind. The woman's rope lashes out, catching my ankle, and I fall, scraping my hands. The bearded man's on me, his knife glinting, while the bulky man raises his pipe. My heart's screaming. I'm in a press gang's trap, a modern, gruesome version. I should have screamed for help earlier, drawn attention. Now I'm fighting for my life. The docks slick under me, their shadows closing in. This is no myth, it's a disturbing reality, and I need to run, now, before it's too late. I scramble up, rope still tangled on my ankle, and sprint down the dock, blood dripping from my head. The bearded man's knife slashes, nicking my arm, and I yell, pain fueling my run. This is life or death, pure horror, and the fog's my only shield. The bulky man's pipe whistles past, smashing a crate, while the woman's rope snaps tight, tripping me again. I kick it off, staggering forward, aiming for the Riverwalk's lights. My mistake was parking here, ignoring that creepy light across the river. I think of a time I outran a drunk in California, but this is worse. Organized, terrifying, human. I hit the Riverwalk, its boardwalk slick under my boots. Their footsteps pound behind, the bearded man's curses loud in the fog. I spot a bar up ahead, its neon sign glowing. Maybe someone's inside. My arm's bleeding, my head throbbing, but I keep running, praying for help. I should have filled the van's battery, planned better. The woman's laugh echoes, chillingly close, and I glance back. She's gaining, rope swinging. My mind flashes to Astoria's press-ganging tales. Men dragged to ships, never seen again. Is that my fate? I need to reach that bar, fast. I duck behind a bench, catching my breath, but the bulky man's pipe slams down, splintering wood. My heart's racing. This is a scary hunt, and I'm the prey. The fog thins, and I see the bar's door, maybe 50 yards away. I bolt, my legs burning, but the bearded man's faster, his knife gleaming. He grabs my jacket, yanking me back, and I swing my crowbar, missing. My mistake was trusting this dock, thinking I could handle anything. The woman's rope loops around my neck, tightening, and I choke, clawing at it. I'm out of moves, trapped in this disturbing chase. The bar's so close, but the rope's cutting my air, and the bulky man's pipe swings, clipping my knee. I collapse, gasping, the dock cold under me. I think of Medford, my old life, how I'd give anything to be back there. Why didn't I stick to campgrounds? The bearded man kneels, knife at my throat, his grin sickening. You're ours now, he says, and it's horrifyingly clear. They're not stopping. I thrash, kicking, but the rope tightens, and my vision blurs. I need a miracle, a way out, before this nightmare ends me. I spot a loose board on the dock, grab it, and swing, catching the woman's leg. She screams, loosening the rope, and I tear free, stumbling toward the bar. The bearded man's knife slashes, cutting my back, and pain sears through me. I'm bleeding bad, but the bar's door is there unlocked. I lunge inside, slamming it shut, but their fists pound the wood, relentless. My heart's pounding, every breath a fight. I made a fatal mistake camping here, and now I'm cornered. The bar's dim lights no sanctuary. They're breaking in, and I'm running out of time to escape this gruesome, terrifying hell. The bar's empty, just tables and stale beer smell. I barricade the door with a chair, blood soaking my shirt, my knee screaming. The bearded man's knife scrapes the door, and the bulky man's pipe smashes through, splintering wood. This is horror at its peak, a press gang's trap closing around me. The woman's laugh pierces the air, cold and triumphant. I should have stayed in Medford, never chased Vanlife. My crowbar's gone, lost in the run, and I'm weaponless, cornered. I think of those old sailors, dragged to sea, their screams ignored. My mistake was parking on that dock, and it's costing me everything. I limp to the back, searching for an exit, but the windows are barred. The door buckles, and the bearded man bursts in, knife raised. I grab a bottle, smash it, and swing, cutting his arm. He roars, lunging, and his knife sinks into my side, pain exploding. I stagger, blood pooling, as the woman's rope loops my arm, yanking me down. My mind flashes to my guitar, my van, my old life, useless now. This is disturbing, their calm precision, like they've done this before. I should have screamed for help, not trusted the fog. I'm out of fight, out of hope. The bulky man's pipe crashes down, cracking my shoulder, and I scream, collapsing. The woman kneels, tying the rope around my wrists, her eyes gleaming with sick joy. I think of my family in Medford, how they'll never know what happened. Why did I pick this life? The bearded man's knife presses my throat, and I choke, blood filling my mouth. This is a scary end, a modern press gang claiming me. My mistake was thinking I was safe, ignoring the dock's history. The bar's lights flicker, mocking me, as their shadows close in, a horrifying ritual unfolding. They drag me outside, the rope burning my wrists, my body failing. The dock's edge looms, the river black and waiting. The bearded man mutters, "Ship's ready," and my heart sinks. They're taking me somewhere, just like the old press gangs. I thrash, but the pipe slams my head, and my vision splits. The woman's laugh is the last thing I hear, cold and final. My mistake was chasing freedom, not seeing Astoria's dark side. They shoved me into the river, the cold swallowing me, my blood mixing with the current. I'm gone, another victim of their gruesome game, lost to the Columbia's depths. No one finds my body. My van sits on the dock, a mystery for the cops, my guitar untouched. Medford's a distant memory, my family left with questions. Vanlife promised adventure, but Astoria's press gang legacy was real, a horror I couldn't escape. The river hides my fate, my name joining the lost sailors of old. My choices, low battery, bad parking, sealed my end. The disturbing truth of Astoria's docks, its living predators, claims me, a tragic warning for the next Vanlifer who parks too close to the water's edge. I'm going to tell you about the night I parked my van on a quiet road in Astoria and ran into something that turned my world into a nightmare. I'm a solo Vanlifer, always looking for peace, but this spot was too close to an old coastal legend. What started as a calm evening became a horrifying chase by a figure tied to Astoria's black-eyed woman myth. My mistakes led me into her trap, and the disturbing truth of what stalks these roads became a tragic fight for my life I couldn't escape. Fog drifts across Young's Bay as I park my van on a quiet stretch of Marine Drive in Astoria. I'm Vesper Tate, 47, from Klamath Falls, Oregon. Been living in my converted GMC Savannah for 4 years, escaping a burned-out nursing career. Astoria's got this ghostly charm, windswept roads, old lighthouses, like it's hiding secrets. I found this spot on a Vanlife app, a pullout near the bay, perfect for a low-key night. My van's my haven, bed, gas stove, a stash of medical books I still read. Tonight, I'm brewing tea, ready to unwind with a novel. The road's empty, just the bay's soft ripples and the hum of distant traffic. I spot a weathered sign about the black-eyed woman, a local tale of a spirit who lures drivers to their deaths. Spooky, but I'm not buying it. I've camped in eerie places before, like that desert lot in Nevada where coyotes spooked me. I sip my tea, locking the doors. My van's sturdy, tinted windows, a deadbolt, a hunting knife under the pillow. Klamath Falls feels far away, with its long shifts and hospital stress. This is my life now, free and quiet. I flip through my book, the fog thickening outside. The black-eyed woman's story sticks in my head. She appears on lonely roads, eyes like voids, leading folks to crash or vanish. Just folklore, I tell myself, like the ghost stories my patients used to share. Still, the fog's got me on edge, curling around the van like it's alive. I check my knife, a nurse's habit, always prepared. The bay's sound is calming, but there's a weird stillness, like the air's holding its breath. I laugh it off. Vesper, you're too old for this nonsense. A faint glow catches my eye, like headlights in the fog, but it's too dim, too steady. Probably a bike, I think, but it's late for cyclists. I remember a Vanlife post about Astoria's roads. Someone mentioned seeing strange eyes at night. I brushed it off as hype. My van's my safe space, built for the road. I double-check the deadbolt, sipping my tea. The glow's closer now, hovering near the pullout. It's nothing, like that time in Idaho when a camper's lantern freaked me out. But something's off, and my gut's starting to churn. I set my book down, the glow now a soft pulse in the fog. A faint hum starts, like a voice, low and mournful. My heart skips, probably the wind, right? But it's too rhythmic, almost calling me. I think of those black-eyed woman tales, how she sings to draw you out. Vesper, you're imagining things, I mutter, gripping my knife. The fog's so thick I can't see the bay anymore. The hum grows louder, and I swear it's my name, whispered on the wind. This is starting to feel like the beginning of a scary night, and I'm not sure I'm ready for it. The hum turns into a clear whisper, Vesper, and my skin crawls. I'm clutching my knife, staring into the fog through the van's tinted windows. The glow's closer, a pale light bobbing like it's floating. This is straight-up horror, not just my imagination. I think of driving away, finding a busier spot, but my gas tank's low, didn't refuel in Astoria, thought I'd make it to Seaside. Dumb move, Vesper. I should have listened to my old co-worker in Klamath Falls, who said solo trips invite trouble. Now I'm stuck, deciding whether to stay or risk the fog. I check my phone. No signal, typical for these coastal roads. A Vanlife thread warned about Astoria's dead zones, but I ignored it. The whisper's louder, and I see her, a woman in a tattered coat, standing in the fog, her face hidden. My heart's pounding. This is disturbing, not some ghost story. I could start the van, but the engine's noise might draw her closer. I think of that time in Utah when a bear sniffed my van. I stayed quiet, and it left. But this feels different, like she knows I'm here. I need to decide, fast. I slide to the driver's seat, keys trembling, but hesitate. Low gas means I might stall out in the fog, and then what? The woman's still there, her head tilting, like she's listening. I think of those black-eyed woman tales, drivers crashing, bodies gone. Is she real, or am I losing it? I should have parked near a campground, not this lonely pullout. My knife's in my lap, but what's it against whatever she is? A soft tap hits the van's side, like fingers brushing metal. My gut screams to leave, but the gas gauge mocks me. This is scary, and I'm trapped. The tapping grows insistent, and the whisper's back, my name over and over. I peek out, and she's closer, her face clearer, eyes black, empty, like pits. My stomach drops. This isn't human, or maybe it is, and that's worse. I think of a patient in Klamath Falls, raving about black-eyed ghosts after a crash. I laughed it off, but now I'm not so sure. My van's supposed to be safe, but it feels like a cage. I made a mistake camping here, and now I'm caught in something horrifying. Do I stay hidden or run into the fog? The glow pulses, and she moves, gliding toward the van. My heart's in my throat. She's not walking, she's floating. This is no prank. It's a nightmare, pure and disturbing. I think of calling for help, but with no signal, I'm alone. The tapping's louder, like she's testing the van's walls. I should have fueled up, checked the myths. The whisper turns into a low laugh, cold and wrong. Van life's about freedom, not this terrifying trap. I need to move, now, before this black-eyed woman drags me into whatever hell she came from. She's at my window, her black eyes boring through the glass, her face pale and twisted. I scream, knife raised, as she slams her hand down, cracking the window. This is horror, raw and real, not some myth. She's solid, her coat dripping wet, like she crawled from the bay. My heart's pounding. I'm trapped in a nightmare. I think of those black-eyed woman stories, luring drivers to their deaths. Is this her? I should have stayed in Klamath Falls, safe in my old life. The van's shaking as she bangs again, and I know my deadbolt's useless. Something's horribly wrong. She hisses my name, her voice like ice, and another figure appears. A man, eyes just as black, holding a rusted anchor chain. They're not alone. A third, a younger woman, her gaze empty, clutches a fishing net. They circle the van, their movements synced, like a pack. My mind races to a news story about missing drivers near Astoria, cars found empty. Is this their work? I try the ignition, but the gas is too low. It sputters and dies. Damn it. Vesper, why didn't you refuel? This is terrifying, and I'm out of options. The man swings his chain, smashing the windshield, glass raining inside. I scramble back, knocking over my books, my nurse's instincts useless. I think of my hospital shifts, staying calm under pressure, but this is different. Pure, disturbing terror. I should have checked the Vanlife app reviews closer. Someone mentioned weird figures on Marine Drive. The woman's hand claws the crack, prying it wider. My knife's no match for 3, and they know it. They're not ghosts. They're real, and that's worse. My van's a trap, and I'm the prey. The younger woman throws her net, tangling the door handle, pulling hard. I think of those maritime legends, spirits or people luring victims to the bay. My phone's dead, no help coming. I made a mistake trusting this pullout, thinking myths were fake. The black-eyed woman's face presses closer, her empty gaze chilling. Come out, Vesper, she whispers, and my blood freezes. This is a horrifying ritual, and I'm its target. The chain swings again, denting the door, and I know I can't stay here. I kick the back door open, knife in hand, and bolt into the fog. The man's chain whistles past, grazing my leg, and I stumble, pain searing. The black-eyed woman's laugh follows, sharp and inhuman. My heart screaming. I'm in their trap, a scary game I can't win. I aim for the bay's edge, hoping to find a boat, anything. My mistake was ignoring the signs, thinking I was safe. The net thrower's close, her footsteps splashing, and the fog's no cover. Something's horribly, disturbingly wrong, and I need to run before they drag me into their nightmare. I sprint toward the bay, fog choking my lungs, my leg bleeding from the chain's graze. The black-eyed woman's right behind, her nails slashing, catching my jacket. This is life or death, pure horror, and I'm running blind. The man's chain swings, smashing a signpost, and the net thrower's footsteps splash closer. I think of a time I outran a dog in Oregon's woods, but this is worse, human, or something else, hunting me. My mistake was parking on this cursed road. I spot a fishing dock ahead, its lights dim but promising safety. I need to reach it, fast. The fog thins, and I veer onto the dock, wood creaking under my boots. The woman's laugh is close, chillingly calm, like she knows I'm hers. My legs throbbing, slowing me down. I should have fueled up, planned better. My knife's still in my hand, but it's useless against 3. I think of a patient's story in Klamath Falls, seeing black-eyed people before a crash. Why didn't I listen? The man's chain lashes out, wrapping my ankle, and I fall, scraping my hands. This is a scary chase, and I'm losing. I tear the chain free, pain shooting through my leg, and scramble up, aiming for a boat tied to the dock. The net thrower's there, her net swinging, catching my arm. I slash my knife, cutting the net, but the black-eyed woman grabs my hair, yanking hard. My heart's pounding. This is disturbing, their relentless hunt. I think of those missing driver stories, cars abandoned on Marine Drive. Is this my fate? I kick free, running for the boat, praying it's my way out. The dock's slick, and I nearly slip into the bay's black water. The boat's close, but the man's chain swings again, clipping my shoulder. Pain explodes, blood soaking my shirt. I think of my old hospital shifts, stitching wounds, staying calm. But this is no ER, it's a horrifying trap. I should have screamed for help earlier, drawn attention. The woman's nails rake my back, and I scream, stumbling onto the boat. It's small, no keys, but I untie it, pushing off. The net thrower's laugh echoes, and the chain splashes near, missing me. My van's back there, useless, and I'm adrift, fighting to escape this scary nightmare. The boat drifts, fog swallowing the dock, but they're not done. The black-eyed woman's on the shore, her gaze locking onto me, pulling me somehow. My head's spinning, like she's in my mind. I made a mistake ignoring those myths, thinking I was too smart for ghosts. The man's chain splashes again, closer, and the net thrower's wading in, her net raised. My shoulder's bleeding bad, my legs useless. This is a disturbing endgame, and I'm out of moves. I paddle with my knife, desperate to reach deeper water, praying I can outrun this terrifying, black-eyed hell. The boat rocks, my shoulders screaming, blood dripping into the bay. The black-eyed woman's gaze burns from the shore, her voice in my head, whispering my name. This is horror at its worst, a trap I can't escape. The man's chain splashes, grazing the boat, and the net thrower's swimming closer, her net glinting. I paddle harder, my leg useless, but the current's pulling me back. My mistake was parking on Marine Drive, believing myths were just stories. I think of Klamath Falls, my old life, how I'd give anything to be back there. I'm out of strength, caught in this tragic nightmare. The net thrower grabs the boat's edge, her black eyes empty, and I swing my knife, missing. The woman's voice grows louder, hypnotic, urging me to stop. I fight it, but my head's foggy, like she's controlling me. I should have fueled up, checked the legends. The man wades in, chain raised, and it slams the boat, splintering wood. Water floods in, cold and biting. My heart's slowing, the horror overwhelming. I think of my patients, how I fought to save them. Now I'm the one dying, trapped in this disturbing ritual. The net wraps my legs, pulling me under. I thrash, but the net tightens, dragging me down. The black-eyed woman's on the boat now, her nails digging into my arm, tearing flesh. Pain's all I know, blood clouding the water. I think of my van, my books, my old life. Gone, useless. Why did I chase this road? The man's chain wraps my neck, choking me, and my vision blurs. This is a scary end, the black-eyed woman's curse real and deadly. My mistake was ignoring the signs, thinking I was safe. Her gaze locks on, and I can't look away, my will breaking as the water closes in. The boat sinks, and I'm underwater, the net binding me, the chain crushing my throat. The woman's laugh echoes, cold and final, as the bay swallows me. My last thought is of my hospital days, saving lives, now lost to this gruesome fate. The man's chain tightens, and my lungs burn, the world fading. I should have listened to that Vanlife post, stayed away from Marine Drive. The black-eyed woman's gaze is the last thing I see, her power sealing my end. My body sinks, another victim of Astoria's haunting myth, lost to the bay's dark depths. No one finds me. My van sits on the pullout, a mystery for the cops, my medical books untouched. Klamath Falls is a distant memory, my family left with no answers. Vanlife promised freedom, but Astoria's black-eyed woman was real, a horror I couldn't outrun. My blood feeds the bay, my name joining the lost drivers of legend. My choices, low gas, bad parking, sealed my fate. The disturbing truth of Astoria's roads, its living nightmare, claims me, a tragic warning for the next Vanlifer who stops too close to the fog's edge.